Hey there everyone, my name is John Fern. I'm the owner and founder of E3 Coach, and I would like to welcome you to my YouTube channel. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. These numbers do actually help and they give me great feedback as well. Please do leave comments as well. I love to see what people are thinking about these videos. Following on from the last video that we did, which was the psychological aspects of taking on large solo expeditions, I just want to talk a little bit more about just the fundamentals of what you're going to be doing for your training. We looked at a basic week a while back for like mid-peak training period for doing a solo to the South Pole. What we want to look at some of the aspects of that. What are we actually going to do? Do you need to be able to run? Do you have to do biking? What is it that you do? So, firstly, you don't need to be a runner. I've trained somebody that actually had an injury that wouldn't allow them to run, and they still managed to get to the South Pole by using a lot of obviously hiking, tire pulling, and biking as a cardio extra. So running is not an absolute. It's a great one because it's a really good way to get a quick cardio fitness, work your aerobic fitness in a really controlled biomechanical way. But the meat and veg of what you will be doing is actually the tire pulling. No one yet has kind of created another method. There's a better way to train for pulling a sled than actually pulling tires. And with this, you would start out with one tire. That would then progress to 2 tires. You could even increase the size of the tires as well as you are doing it. You can add things into these tires as well to make them heavier, be it rocks, water bottles, etc. And that will be your main focus, is tire pulling, because you need to replicate the movement. Other things you can do on top of that are what I call weighted poles. So you'll have your poles, but you can have wrist weights. And this actually helps you build, because you'll have a reliance upon your arms for stability as well as for propulsion, but actually your lats as well need to engage. So it's a full body movement that will actually help you propel yourself on your skis with your sled behind. And actually your poles will act as brakes at times if you're slipping or sliding and balancing. So you need a lot of extra strength there. So doing weighted pole walks as well is a great way. Next would be the weighted backpack. And this again is a progressive weight, and this is something that you can start to use as you're doing uphills to build the muscles to help you moving uphill, as well as obviously you can add the tires and the backpack when you're getting further and further down your training plan. So all of these things are very much working your zone 1, zone 2 aerobic cardiovascular fitness, but they're also working the muscle groups and they're building that strength and resilience. They're also building, as we mentioned in the previous video, your psychological approach to dealing with boredom in a way, because you could be tire pulling up to like 5-6 hours, which can get a little bit tedious. So you have to start building those coping mechanisms, and again it comes back to that why and how you fend off those negatives. You can start to put into play taking your tires into really rough terrain, which would replicate traveling through Strasburgi, which are big lumps of ice scattered all over the place. So I've seen people pulling tires over park benches, up staircases, over handrails. All of these kind of things start to prepare you physically for what the stress and the strain is on the body. But also, if you've ever been tire pulling and you snag a tire on something and you're mid-flow, it's mentally draining. So preparing yourself to deal with the psychological drain of, oh, I got to go and get my tire off of that route or whatever it is that it's stuck on. We do obviously put running in, because a lot of people I've worked with love running, and as I've mentioned before, it's a great way to build a real solid aerobic fitness. It's also great for explosive work as well. You can put some speed sessions in there, which again we can't neglect. We do work on all fours with tires on, so you're crawling, because sometimes if you watch any videos anywhere, you'll see people trying to remove pulks over big Strasburgi, and they can be on their hands and knees trying to do it, or they can be on their back trying to pull with their hands. We do all of these sessions built in and replicated. And the great thing about a tire session is, if you're doing a polar expedition and you're looking for sponsors and interest, etc., it draws so much attention. Everybody I know that has tire pulled has had amazing conversations. They've got money from it. People put advertising, their GoFundMe's, etc., onto their tires. It creates conversation and it gets community involved as well, because they see you out regularly. So the tire pulling is multifaceted and it's a great way to train. But it's not just pull, pull, pull. It's getting creative with those sessions as well. Similar with the backpack, we can do things where the backpack's on and off, we're changing the weight of it, we're moving the backpack around, we're getting on all fours and moving the backpack around, because whilst you're trying to get into your tent or set your tent up, you need to be on the floor, which means you need to be able to move weight around whilst on the floor. We mentioned before that there was a digging session when we looked at that week plan. Digging is a really tough one. You know, sometimes that's on all fours and you've got to be down there and you're digging away to get the trench out for your kitchen, or it could just be purely for making water. But it is another physical exercise, and we must never underestimate the fatigue you are feeling from 11, 12 hours of skiing to then having to dig out your tent or build a snow wall or melt water. So that's another aspect that definitely gets focused on. If you're a gym person, we feature in gym training because we can work more specific strength for that as well. Some people don't like gyms, and I've trained some people that have never lifted a weight and yet they have skied to the South Pole. I've trained some people that like to spend a lot of time in the gym and work on their strength. So if someone tells you, oh, you've got to be in the gym, you've got to be lifting weights, you don't have to. Everything I've just described with that tire is a weight bearing exercise. You are loading your body. You can be picking tires up and moving them around. You can be doing squats with tires, all of these different exercises with the weighted pack as well. It's weight bearing as well as cardiovascular. So you don't have to be gym focused, but I do build gym specific sessions as well for those that actually quite like to get into the gym and vary things. Okay, so there's a lot of the physical aspects of what's done for your training. It's not overly complicated. It's structured in a progressive manner. I do it week on week so I can see the feedback coming through as to how that person is, because we all adapt differently at different times. We all have different stresses and strains going on in our lives. As I've mentioned before, the 6 people for the poll that I've worked with, all different backgrounds. So different family style, different works, different pressures, different times in their lives. So these people all need different ways in which to achieve the end goal. So that comes down to the artistry of the coaching, is designing the plan to fit in with that specific person and their lifestyle. But I hope you found that a little bit informative and helpful. If you have more questions on how training is built specifically for an individual, then please do drop me a message here or send me an email. I'll be happy to discuss. And again, please do subscribe.